Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today I'm going to be covering Hercules, Prince of Power, issues 3 and 4, published in 1982 by Marvel Comics. Yes, it's a 2-for-1 for this episode as I finish out my coverage of the amazing Bob Layton Hercules limited series. The first limited series, and I'll be covering the second one hopefully soon on the show. It's also 4 issues. It was published in 1983, and it's equally as good as this one, I think. In like the Lion of Olympus, out like a sacrificial lamb, says the cover box. Great Bob Layton cover here. And let's dive in with our splash page. Whom the god would destroy. Welcome to the Omicron system, a cluster of planetary bodies known throughout the galaxy for its high culture and refined distilling techniques. It also happens to be a system under martial law. Statement: I believe that we are being fired upon, Lord Hercules. Verily, friend recorder, methinks we should hastily communicate our good intentions. We have Bob Layton is our primary artist. Rick Parker is our letterer. Bob Sharon, colorist. Mark Grunwald, editor. Luke McDonald gives an art assist again on this issue. Jim Shooter's the editor-in-chief. And Hercules, using his magical trumpet or conch or whatever it is, tries to communicate to these fighters that he is here on a peaceful venture, and they don't listen. So Hercules, as is his wont, takes the fight to them in a manner only he can do. 'Twould seem my greeting fell upon deaf ears. Hold thou the reins, recorder, whilst I deliver a more direct message in person. So he tears through in a brilliant sequence of action here into their ship, jettisoning the pilots, who are in spacesuits, luckily, and making his way to the back of the ship. I must hasten to yonder airlock. Even the Lion of Olympus can survive the vacuum of space but for moments. Outside, the magical influence of the sun chariot, that is. In the name of Zeus, Hercules doth claim this vessel. So he forces them to take it back to the military space station where they originated from. He gets out with a recorder, facing many blasters of the residents of the space station. Statement: my gyros are totally out of alignment from that ride. I will never perambulate a straight line again. Lower your weapons, men. I'm Commander Malin. You must be the magician that attacked my patrol. Attack thy patrol. 'Twas thy fighters that fired upon me. We sought only peaceful passage through the system. I am Hercules, son of Zeus, from the system called Sol. I was on my way to Sigram 7 with my Magellan recorder when we were beset by star cavalry. I see, being a stranger to the star system, you wouldn't have known that it has been under martial law for the last 5 years. So this commander is willing to listen to Hercules, and so peace ensues from that. And Hercules informs him that he's come to Sigram 7 to sample their rare vintages that they are known for. And but what he didn't know when he arrived was that there is a larger, sinister story in the system right now. Observe the viewers behind me. For the past 5 years, we have lost a planet a year. Each vanished without a trace. All 5 were habitable. Of the 15 remaining planets in our system, only 4 others are the same class. So, they're trying to protect these 4 remaining habitable planets. Meanwhile, the recorder gets into some hilarious barroom antics here as 2 different squads wind up fighting each other. and Hercules gets involved after his discussion with the commander. And the commander soon learns that Hercules quells the riot in the bar. Meanwhile, Sigram 7 itself becomes the next victim. Twin planet-sized vessels of a technology far beyond mortal comprehension align themselves on opposite sides of the green world that is Sigram 7. Awesome energies lash out, engulfing the planet, trapping its inhabitants in total stasis. They get wind of this on the military station and deploy to try to stop it. Hercules goes with them to help. But the power in these two stations is too great and destroys all of Hercules' companions. By the thunder of Zeus, what manner of beings can wield such power? Statement: we cannot possibly attack single-handedly. We should turn back, sir. Nay, recorder, many good men died this day. They must be avenged, and the son of Zeus hath always been an avenger. Great nod to his past on Earth there, really cool. Unscathed, they enter a beam-sealed landing bay, unaware of the inhuman eyes that watch them. Interrogative: what is your intention, sir? First, we must destroy the device that hath ensnared yon planet. Then, these intruders shall learn the danger of incurring the wrath of a god. But they are beset by many remote blasters. Recorder is crippled. Hercules himself is stunned unconscious. He awakens in the clutches of these strange-looking aliens, and he finds himself powerless. Are you mad? Thou dost intend to destroy that entire planet? What sort of god would demand such a horror? Come now, we probed your mind. Did your father not allow living sacrifices to be made to him? Is that not the way of gods? But why must the whole world die? So the entire galaxy may survive, godling. So these aliens are a cult that worship a world-devouring being, and one who is going to be familiar to us once we learn who it is. Of course, Hercules, still powerless, is rescued by the ever-loyal Recorder. Recorder, thou lives. Statement: sorry for taking so long to join you, sir, but as you can see, I'm experiencing some technical difficulties. He figures out how to free him. Great open panel here on page 17. What should I do now, sir? Get thee to the chariot. I shall join thee if I survive. So here, Hercules finds these beings worshiping this enigmatic space god around their device they use to hold the planet hostage. And of course, in his own inimitable fashion, Hercules destroys the device. Mere seconds remain. Zeus, guide my aim and make it true. The globe-like device shatters into 1,000 shards, and with it shatters the hope of the creators. Brothers, we are lost. So in that despair, these alien cultists commit an act of mass suicide, and Hercules escapes that just in time in the sun chariot with the Recorder. And really nice storytelling here from Leighton. And barely is the chariot clear of the doomed starships when they explode in unison. For one moment in the history of Sigram 7, there is daylight on both sides of the world. But for the Prince of Power, no light, regardless of its brightness, can dispel the darkness he feels within himself. He thinks of his own race of gods and how they allowed themselves to be worshipped in years past, and he feels shame. Remember, folks, the whole thrust of this limited series, why Hercules was banished to wander in space, is because of his impetuousness over his many hundreds and thousands of years of life. And Zeus wanted him to roam the stars to learn humility. And so each issue, he's encountered situations that have forced him to reconsider his actions and great use of the light here, just a bit of a shadow on the left side of Hercules' face here. Great facial expressions. You can see the shame on his face and the emotion conveyed there. Just wonderful work by Bob Layton. And while the immediate danger has passed, a greater danger looms, because those aliens were in fact worshiping Galactus and giving him a planet a year to slake his thirst for energies. And so we see in this last panel our first shot of Galactus by Layton, and it looks great. For the first time in centuries, my planetary appeasement is not at the pre-designed coordinates. Let the system now beware, for Galactus hungers. Next issue, not just another Galactus story, and you'd better believe it. Great house ad here for the Avengers with Roger Stern now revitalizing the title. It was great. Initially it was Stern, Milgram, Sinnott. Then it became Stern, Buscema, Palmer, and fantastic work Stern did on the Avengers title for many years. On to issue 4. Fantastic cover, another Layton masterpiece here, and it does pay off in the story itself. And we start out with a seemingly whole recorder because he is going to tell this story in flashback. So we know at least the recorder survives, right? And beautiful splash page there, really nice with the Regellians fixing him up. And you get a recap through the recorder of the events of the whole series, really, and mostly the last issue. And we get our title within his recap, Not Just Another Galactus Story. Bob Layton, writer-artist, Rick Parker, letterer and artist, Christy Shield, colorist, Mark Grunwald, editor, Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief, and special thanks to Sam De La Rosa for his embellishing assist. So this issue, last issue we had Luke McDonald doing a little bit of art assist, and this issue we have Sam De La Rosa, who I've always loved Sam De La Rosa's inks. They're really nice. Hercules is being feted by the inhabitants of Seagram 7 for saving their planet. And important here, they give him a number of gifts, but this is the most important one to this story. I've been saving this gift for last, Prince. This small vial contains the most potent liquor in the known universe. One drop of this stuff can turn a black hole inside out. It takes us 10 years to distill just enough to fill one small flask. It's a rare and priceless substance, but enough to last a man a lifetime. Several lifetimes, I hope. Thou hast my gratitude, Peel. I shall cherish thy gift. I shall keep it in my belt for safekeeping. Remember, no more than a drop diluted in water, for it'll fry your scrogies off. The merriment continued for hours, while, unknown to anyone at this time, the festivities were about to be interrupted. So, who shows up on Seagram 7 to claim Galactus' tithe of planetary energy but his herald, Nova? An interesting artistic choice by Bob Layton here to draw Frankie Ray Nova in this way, because she looks a lot like her old Earth terrestrial version of the Human Torch. She was, for a short time in Burns FF, the female Human Torch. And this looks like sort of a cross between her appearance in those stories and what Galactus transformed her into. So pretty cool. She gives the signal here. And Hercules is alerted to the danger. Another great open panel to break up the page. I love that. Apparently unscathed by the revelry's effects, Hercules dashed to the rescue of his hosts. He has a habit of doing that. I love the tongue-in-cheek storytelling in this limited series, and it continues all the way through. Begone, woman. This planet is under my protection. Then defend it, if you have the power. Awesome action sequence in this next 2 pages. Such an attack would have destroyed almost any being, but Hercules is not just any being. To the apparent astonishment of the herald, he emerged, tattered and scorched and very, very angry. Allow me to show thee why I am called the Prince of Power, woman. For if 'tis power thou wish demonstrated, the Lion of Olympus can certainly oblige. The cornerstone struck her with the force of a colliding meteor, sending herald and flaming stone alike raining down upon the city. If she hits that whole complex, we'll go kaboom. So she hits the distillery, it explodes, and she emerges unscathed. Now you shall learn what it means to incur the wrath of a herald of Galactus. Have at thee then, thy master shall not destroy this planet whilst a single breath remains in the breast of Hercules. You're Hercules? The Hercules from Earth? The same, woman. Golly, can we go somewhere and talk? So we flip back to Galactus. He arrives on the planet, but his herald is nowhere to be seen. And so he takes matters into his own hands. Meanwhile, at the moment, Galactus had begun to act. I had just located the son of Zeus, exiting from our quarters. Statement, there you are, sir. I was beginning to worry about... Shh, be silent, friend recorder, lest thee awaken the maiden slumbering within our chambers. Interrogative. I'm not sure I understand. Has the danger passed? Let it simply be said, the fire is out for the nonce. So, but they begin to see that Galactus has begun the process of consuming Seagram 7. I informed Hercules that the device was self-generating and could not be destroyed. His reply was predictable. Then, friend recorder, we must take the fight to Galactus. Statement. I was afraid you would say that. So, Hercules, in the sun chariot with the recorder in tow, approaches Galactus' planetary ship. It was obvious that he considered Hercules no threat. The huge iris door of the massive vessel opened without resistance. I found it a fascinating opportunity to study the technology of the ship. Stay close, recorder. There may be danger afoot. Statement. Don't worry, sir. I'll keep both sensors open and be careful. And he walks right into Galactus' foot. Galactus bids you welcome, Olympian. I trust you are the reason my herald is tardy. Aye, Galactus. 'Tis not the first time the fates have crossed our paths. Yonder planet is under the protection of Hercules. Galactus must do what he must do to survive. If this planet must die so I may live, so be it. Nay, as an immortal, I command thee to depart or face the anger of the son of Zeus. Impudent, flee. Galactus would not even be here if you had not interfered with my followers. It was your meddling that brought me to this system. I allow you to converse with me out of respect for a fellow immortal. Be advised, secure your tongue, lest you incur my wrath as well. Thou hast left me little choice, Galactus. Have at thee. You dare strike Galactus? This is amazing too, and we get the payoff from the cover. I am power incarnate, puny god. With a mere thought, Galactus can strip the flesh from your bones or reduce you to protoplasmic slime. You dare lay hands on one who can recreate you with but a passing whim? Leave or stay, it does not matter. But seek not to interfere with the will of Galactus, Olympian. He turned and went back to his task of overseeing the destruction of Seagram 7. Hercules just sat there for hours doing something I've never seen him do before. He was thinking. Interrogative. Sir, perhaps we could just depart from the system before we get into more trouble. Nay, friend recorder, my duty remains clear. At last I am beginning to see the wisdom in Zeus's punishment. Mine own arrogance hath caused the Lion of Olympus to be humbled. My father knew I would encounter beings whose power would dwarf my own, who I could not defeat by force of arms. Observation. It will be a great loss to the culture of the galaxy when Seagram 7 perishes. Their technology for distilling liquors will be lost for all time. Aye, they're the true masters at making every sort of liquor. By the thunder of Zeus, it may work. Recorder, come closer and listen with care, lest a world should die. The Prince of Power hath a plan. Following my instructions, I placed myself in an isolated spot where I could observe the two immortals without detection. I did not know at the time what Hercules planned to do. Hail, mighty Galactus, devourer of worlds! Hercules salutes the besting of the son of Zeus. Wouldst thou care to join me in a drink? So, you have learned proper respect. It is not yet time to activate the matter converter. So, very well, I shall grant you your request, if only to reward your newfound manners. I thank thee, omnipotent one. I see that, as per instruction, at that moment, I was to tamper with Galactus' converter control, distracting him long enough for Hercules to empty the contents of the vial into Galactus' drink. It seems your recorder was not content merely to observe. I shall see to it that it maintains only its primary function. Things like that always seem to happen to me when I exceeded my programming. So be it. I drink to thee, Galactus, the scourge of the galaxy and conqueror of the son of Zeus. So be it. He touched the goblet to his lips, drank deeply of the laced potion. A curious smile crossed the face of Hercules, as if to say, he had won. Very good, Olympian, I accept your tribute. Is it warm in here? It shall be a great deal warmer in a few minutes, base villain. For all thy power, thou hast fallen prey to the simplest of deceptions. I laced thy drink with the most powerful intoxicant in the known universe. The amount I gave thee could make the thunderbolts of Zeus go limp. So, little god, it would appear you have won, but in truth, appearances can be deceiving. What? I do not understand. Am I not Galactus, the all-knowing? Do you not know that 1,000 such potions would not faze me? I acted out your charade because, frankly, I find you quite the amusing buffoon. The sound I then heard was one that few beings have ever heard. The laughter of Galactus. My thanks, little god. For the first time in memory, someone has made Galactus forget his hunger. I am grateful. A multitude of worlds await the taking. For your efforts, I shall spare this one. And with a wave of his hand, we dematerialized, and Galactus set a course for a new galaxy. We recombined back on the surface of Seagram 7. They're back. What happened? Are we safe? We have triumphed, methinks. Interrogative. Could you possibly see fit to extricate me from this thing? So before I turn the page, I don't think we'd ever seen Galactus without his helmet on at that point, so this was revolutionary for that alone. But this has to be one of the best Galactus stories I've ever read, just from the way it was told and the manner of Galactus's eventual defeat, if you want to call it that. Fear not, recorder, the Lion of Olympus shall set thee free. So he frees the recorder, and before more partying can begin, we have cause to celebrate. I think not, Hercules, eh? I'm sorry, but these gentlemen say they have been looking for you. Hercules, in the name of the high commanders of Rigel, I bid you take heed. You have single-handedly accumulated the largest recorder charge account in the history of the Rigellian Empire. The sub-commander, Ronhan, has commanded us to confiscate the recorder or what's left of him until your debt is paid. Surely thou jest. Thou mean to separate us after what we have been through together? I am sorry, but we have our orders. Now wait a minute, Domehead. Hercules has twice saved our planet. We are indebted to him in a way we could never truly repay. Yeah, we'll cover his debt to the Empire. Just leave him be, okay? Very well, but the recorder unit will have to come with us until we have cleared the matter with the sub-commissioner. Statement, sir. I don't want to go back. Life is very dull back with the fleet. A lot less dangerous, but dull. I am touched by the loyalty, recorder. Rest assured, as soon as circumstances permits, Hercules shall plead thy case with thy superiors. The Prince of Power hath been proud to call thee friend. Fare thee well, our paths shall soon cross again. So swears the son of Zeus. Statement, goodbye, sir. And of course, he says that was the last time he ever saw Hercules, but we know in the next limited series he shows up again. But we get a nice little epilogue here. Hercules and Frankie Ray, aka Nova, are going to do some R&R because she's been given time off by Galactus. And I'm remiss in not mentioning here that Leighton himself thanks a few others for help. Michael Carlin, Joe Albelo, Rick Magyar, Phil Normand, Kevin Robinette, and Danny Crespi. That's all, folks. And we get a great pin-up here of Hercules. Just awesome. What a triumph this limited series was. Doesn't get talked about enough. Fantastic. I'm definitely going to cover the second one, which is a 4-issue limited series as well. But I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. I'll bring you more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.